So is it possible to review a movie, have a similar opinion to the majority of people out there, and yet still get chewed out in the comments? Well, let's find out. Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for John Wick Chapter 4, which is the fourth film in the John Wick series starring Keanu Reeves, and unlike the third one, this movie has no subtitle. The movie once again follows John Wick, the hitman with the gun featuring unlimited ammo. Seriously, how many times have you seen him hold the same gun and never reload? Think about it. Anyway, this movie takes place soon after the events of the third movie, where John Wick is on an ever-ending quest to try to defeat the High Table, and one member in particular, played by Bill Skarsgård, really wants John Wick dead, so it's essentially a John Wick movie. I might have a pretty controversial opinion when it comes to John Wick as a series, because I think the first movie is a great action movie. It's low stakes, it's very well filmed, has beautiful cinematography, great lighting. It's basically a revenge movie about a guy trying to avenge the death of his dog. I mean, we can all relate to that, so it was a fun movie overall, and I really liked it. But I never understood why the first movie needed to evolve into a franchise. I mean, money, obviously, but the biggest issue I've had with the John Wick sequels, and especially with this one, is that the world building and the mythology just aren't that interesting. The way these sequels tend to build the world of John Wick, it seems to come out of nowhere. It feels inorganic. Characters appear out of nowhere and disappear without any trace. Like, there's hardly any characters from the last movie that pop up in this one. And it just felt a little disorganized and uninteresting for me. And I had a bigger issue with the way this series treats its mythology in this movie than I did in the last one, mainly because of the runtime. John Wick Chapter 3 was a solid 2 hours and 11 minutes. Like, maybe a little longer than a movie of this type should be, but it's a pretty decent runtime, and I enjoyed it mostly. But this movie, being 2 hours and 49 minutes, hell no! Like, there is no reason at all that this movie should be as long as it is. For me, there is absolutely nothing about the world building or the depth of the characters that warrants this movie being nearly 3 hours long. Like, that is kind of an absurd runtime for this kind of movie. Now, I wanted to get all that out of the way at the start of this video because even though it sounds like I'm criticizing this movie very harshly, that's not how I feel. I actually enjoyed this movie a lot more than I did Chapter 3, and it's mainly because of the reasons you come to see these movies. The action sequences. They are stellar. The action scenes in this movie are very creative, very well lit. The cinematography and framing choreography of the action sequences is just downright gorgeous. Especially when it comes to the lighting, and more specifically how a lot of these action sequences are lit. And it takes place throughout the world. They go to Osaka, Berlin, Paris, and each action scene tops the other in terms of creativity and camera work. There's one scene in particular that reminds me of Die Hard. Not the movie, I'm talking about the NES game, where it's an overhead view, and in some instances, it's one continuous take, and I'm thinking, how did they accomplish this sequence? Like, that must have taken forever to nail the choreography and staging for a one-shot take. It's flat out jaw-dropping what they're able to accomplish with these action scenes. And that's the thing. Even though I complained about this movie being almost 3 hours long, outside the opening, I didn't find myself bored at all. And the actors have plenty of charisma to keep me going. You have people in it like Donnie Yen, who's a great addition to John Wick as a series. His action scenes are stellar, even if they do fall into the old cliche of the blind man. Hiroyuki Sanada from Mortal Kombat and Bullet Train is a good addition to this movie. McShane is still as fun as ever. And rest in peace to Lance Reddick. He doesn't do a whole lot in this movie, but he still makes his presence well known. And Bill Skarsgård does make for... he's a somewhat effective villain. But there were a few points throughout where his line delivery was kind of flat, but nowhere near as flat as with Keanu Reeves. I'm sorry, but Keanu Reeves is an awesome guy, and whenever he's in the action scenes or just being silent, he's really good. But whenever he has to talk, he delivers his lines in a very awkward manner. But let's be honest, in most of his high-profile movies, Keanu Reeves has never been a good actor. Like, the best movie still that I've seen him in is Bill and Ted, because he just seemed to fit perfectly with that character. But at the same time, he's not bad enough to where it ruins the movie for me, because on the whole, regardless of my complaints, and they were, for my money, major complaints, the movie is still entertaining enough to keep you going. It's shot beautifully, it's well choreographed. It's just a beautiful movie to look at overall. So I would say it's worth seeing in your lifetime, but more on the lower end. I'm still not fully invested in the mythology of John Wick, and this movie ultimately reminds me of Mad Max Fury Road, where it 1000% delivers on being a stellar and gorgeous action movie, but anything in terms of plot and story, this one's a little deeper and a little more interesting than Mad Max Fury Road, which was essentially a back-and-forth car chase featuring a lot of characters who needed subtitles. Overall, this was a lot of fun. I wouldn't say it's gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the year goes, but right now, it's fun for what it is for me, but I'm not gonna go as far to say that, oh my god, it's Best Picture material, it's that good like Top Gun Maverick. I personally can't do that, but still really good nonetheless. And there you go, that's my review for John Wick Chapter 4. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.